Actually put down a 10 on the table off camera, so looks like destiny is at hand. Speaking of hands, players have drawn. Let's see what Sean opens up with.
It's going to be really interesting to watch these games here of Sean playing Branded, because Branded's known as one of the most non-linear decks in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically, your opening hand will fully decide not just like how powerful your hand could be, but like what direction you choose to go with that hand is wildly different. We're going to see a lot of decisions being bridged here from the get-go.
Looks like Sean is proceeding to the main phase here.
I definitely saw a Quem in his opening hand, which could be a little awkward unless it's
yeah,
the only way
like
to actually get going.
Gonna normal summon the Quem. Looks like the effect is unmitigated here.
Yep, so we're going to go ahead and send a card from deck to graveyard.
All right, Quem, what are you guiding us into?
It could be a lot of things, but usually you want to maybe just get like an Albaz in rotation to activate some more of your fusion spells if you don't have any ways to use outside of that.
I think what's also interesting about the Despia branded deck in general is that while they do have a lot of tricks of the trade, you're right that it's a non-linear deck. It's not something where you're going to look up, a video online that's going to tell you every combo you need to know. I mean, it'd have to be like 19 hours to fit in all the content there.
It looks like we sent the Cartesia and
Turn.
I think it was just a pass there from Sean.
That does happen sometimes, so
phase.
Quem is really going to be holding it down here. If a card leaves the extra deck, that's cool, and with Maliss, that's actually likely to come up.
True. And then we can have ways to recycle this Cartesia if we can send our own cards from the extra deck to the graveyard to give Sean the follow-up he needs, but he's going to be shown. Here we see Chessy Cat coming down from Albert with a set card. That's a pretty hard thing for Sean to interact with.
And the cat is out of the bag here. We're going to banish the March Hare to draw 2.
Oh, this is Maliss's bread and butter right here. Banishing the names to get extra advantage and potentially extra bodies in play. That Marcher is going to pay 300 life points, add itself back to the hand here. But where do we go from here? A lot of the really powerful, like, Link monsters that Maliss has been known for using, like the, Link 1s, the Decoder and whatnot, are all kind of difficult to use, really, because they're now on the forbidden list. But something like Link Gariba here to start off, and then getting some extra bodies to climb into, like, a Link 3 play would be kind of what you want to see from Albert here. Ooh, but there we see the
here we go.
The Link Disciple.
So Link Disciple does mean a card left the extra deck, and Sean immediately declaring the Gaidong Quem, the Virtuous's effect there. So maybe time for a fusion summon. Got a little too excited there, but it's true that that's all he needed, and Maliss is almost guaranteed to make it happen.
Yeah, Brandon's definitely like one of the decks that's like, oh, no, it's not your turn, it's our turn. Let me know when things happen. Ooh, but we're going to chain the Maliss in the mirror that's in our hand to negate the Quem effect. Everyone forgets that this card can do more than just add different types of Maliss cards. It also has an ability when it's in the hand. We're going to banish that Marcher that we added back, it looks like.
A little expensive.
Yeah, but you need to be you need to basically banish a card of the same type. So Monster Spell Trap in order to negate with Maliss in the mirror. But thanks to us having that Link monster in play, we do get to get this backup at Ignister to search for the wizard here, and that might be the extension we need to go for our Link 3 play, as long as we have another access to a Maliss name. Could be pretty important. So we're going to go ahead and go for a Link 2 here. This could be for Wicked. This could be for Haggard Lizard Dose, and that can banish the Chessy Cat that's in our graveyard, which will get us the name that we need to go to our Link 3 play. This is everything Albert wants here.
Going for the classics. The one thing that Branded has that works against it is, well, it has all this possibility in terms of what it can do during its own turn. Usually in terms of activations, other than a few fusions here and there, you might have Tri-Brigade Mercurier, but it doesn't really have a lot of room for some of the other cards that other decks have access to.
Right. So here we see the Red Ransom effect on summon here. Going to go and search for a spell. We're going to get the Malice and Underground Field spell. This will give us access to another name here, and if we get Dormouse, that gets to resolve. That could be all Albert needs here to go for game. Will definitely represent a ton of damage.
So activating the field spell. Time for a little Malice in Underground here. Interesting to see. You think that 8,000 battle damage is going to come out of this turn from Albert if Sean isn't able to interrupt in any way?
You would need some way to interact with the White Binder or the Malice traps to get the extra bodies out. Because, Heart Scripter alone plus G2CO6 represents almost 8,000 damage by itself. And then that's if you're not banishing anything with Heart Scripter's effect. So it's pretty easy just to get that damage. Really, the biggest choke points are going to be stuff like the Link 3s, as well as the trap cards. But if I saw Sean's hand, I saw a lot of monsters that weren't necessarily hand interaction. and I think I saw a Dark Ruler no more, which is interesting to see in the main deck, but
definitely helps. And
Yeah,
Brandon
65.
is good at going second, although you wouldn't have access to any battle damage if you started up with that. But it
Right.
seems like the whole plan is to main deck the Dark Ruler no more. So if you happen to lose the dice roll, you just stop your opponent from being able to stop you, and you at least get some kind of turn.
yeah, and here I think we're seeing kind of the weakness that a lot of fusion decks have famously been known for having in the course of Yu-Gi-Oh's history is that they require the most parts of any sort of alternate form of summoning. You know, synchro monsters just require tuners and monsters. Links just require specific types of monsters. X's require monsters at the same level, but you need specific monsters and a way to fuse if you're playing a fusion deck.
Effect.
Even ritual monsters, which cost usually the same amount of cards, only require star levels. So you're right, specific names and specific cards are probably the hardest to do.
So now we're in
What's
battle
attack
phase
order?
here, using the effect of Access Code
18.
Talker to get rid of the Clem and increase its attack points. And we're going battle phase. It's going to be 18 with
Okay.
that White Rabbit increased by the Dormouse.
18's fine.
Sean Killian has taken 18.
18's fine, he says. Does he have something planned?
So I paid 9.
This could be Gore's Inventory Darkness.
50.
That'd be
In
awesome to see.
2025?
I would love every second of it.
29.
That's 29 plus 18. Being reduced by 47 total.
33.
And then we have 5,300 from this Access Code
53.
Talker.
On that.
Sean could have
Oh, it's a
defense.
bestial, isn't it? And that's a super heads-up way to just
Activate your
jump in the
backup.
nick of time.
You're so right, Steven.
Right
That is
back up.
Bestial Saranir. And I believe we've used every name besides White Rabbits to summon itself. But like I mentioned earlier, if we have a way to
No
get
response.
additional monsters, we do not. So we're going to banish the backup here to bring out the Saranir. It will be a body that we can use to absorb this damage with Access Code Talker. And that could give Sean the turn he needs, because I believe he's getting this
If I
Cartesia back during
declare
the end
another
phase.
attack, do I have to do it this one first? Yeah, and then he activated Sarnir. I would have to do this first.
Yeah, so because the Access Code Talker was the one that declared the attack when the board of monsters changed,
yeah.
it needs to continue the replay of the attack if you wanted to attack at all this turn.
Else you'd waste the attack by not declaring it.
Because there is totally a world where Albert can summon multiple monsters during the battle phase still, but will he get the 3,300 damage required to actually win the game? Hard to say.
Well, it looks like we're going to send a card to the graveyard, and I think we might actually be sending Branded Fusion possibly to add it back next to the hand, or he might send Branded Retribution. There's a lot of different targets he's seen in this deck so far.
It really depends on... Branded Opening couldn't be too
What
bad
happened?
either to get maybe some... No, there's going to be really no destruction interaction from Albert, so don't necessarily want to interact with that.
You could do Branded High Spirits just so you could add it back to your hand during the end phase, just for some sort of play in the next turn. But I think that's what Sean's thinking about the most. And oh yeah,
Yes.
there's Branded High Spirits.
Good heads-up
Alright,
play
then.
there. That will
Yeah.
be able to give him the searches he needs to get access to even more of his Albaz cards to be able to actually start fusing, especially with the Cartesia that he's adding back to hand, I believe.
Card's certainly well-rounded, but it's gotten a little bit better after the release of the new structure
good
deck because
info.
there's just even more targets to reveal and discard.
We're going straight into main phase 2 here as Albert, it looks like. Not going to be able to get the damage required, so may as well not waste the resources if we're him. This access code being here, I definitely understand where Albert was going for, trying to go for the game, but now it's going to be a really awkward monster for him to kind of build the rest of his board around because it doesn't really have any interaction for the opponent's turn. It is a big guy, though, so you guys are able to fight over it if you need to.
Oh yeah, one of the biggest, but it's true there were a lot of other options, and now you're almost going to have to get rid of the access code talker in order to do anything else. So I don't know if it's going to be linked off for like an allied code talker out Ignister, or maybe we're going to see something smaller than that, but...
Funny enough, if you link it off for Allied Code could bring it back.
That is true, that is true. It would be a 2,300 attack code monster.
Yep, we are going to go ahead and link off all 3 monsters for the Link 3 of Malice Q Hearts Cryptor. The Queen has arrived, or not. So the monsters were sent, so we have to summon a legal monster, and we're going to send White Binder instead. Summon
Okay.
White Binder instead.
Effect on summon, targeting, mirror.
Ooh, this
Oh, and
is
he's
going
going
to
for the
be...
grave. Okay, really good work
Cartesia
here from
interference.
Albert, not just watching some of those cards come back, because Blazing Cartesia, obviously such a
mirror effect
workhorse in the
target
branded deck.
Sure.
He may have failed to have go for a game this turn, but he's not going to fail to deny Sean the follow-up that he so desperately needed because he can kind of smell the weakness in Sean's hand from that turn 1.
Well, but I wonder if on Sean's side you're feeling okay because you forced your opponent to
Like the
basically combine his field to make
Right,
sure you
almost.
didn't have any recursive plays during the end phase. So at least from his perspective, he's like, oh, okay, I've lost some stuff, but this also could be a huge link summon soon.
And I believe we only know about the one G2CO6 if we're Sean. I don't think there's any other knowledge of Albert's hand now that we're summoning this wizard. So we're going to go ahead and banish the White Binder here to use the 06 to maybe bring back the Ransom. We're going to go ahead and gain a total of 2,300 life points, it looks like. Thanks, that 06.
79.
Going up to 7,900.
Sure.
Go ahead and cut the deck real fast.
Actually, I'm at 79, and then pay 900 for this, so it's 7,000.
Yep, so after paying 900 to bring back the White
33.
Binder, we're going to bring it back, draw a card, and go down to 7,000 life points total. Yeah, tracking Maliss life points is the hardest thing in the world to do, so a huge shout out to our staff here for keeping track of it so well.
Oh, yeah, you definitely have to keep the phone charged for Neuron for sure. Now it seems like Albert's kind of stabilized after drawing a new card, considering his options. He's got not necessarily the most commanding field when you think about the fact that Branded is almost like a soft board breaking deck.
Right.
But it's enough stuff that, like, if you don't have the ability to clear all of it, then eventually that's going to come back and bite you in the life points. So Sean really has his work cut out for him.
Mm-hmm. We got the Linkaribo coming down here. And it's looking like he's trying to figure out the best way to go about building the rest of this board. We're going to go ahead and use the March Hare effect from hand to banish a card from the grave to summon itself out. We're going to go ahead and get rid of the White Rabbit, whose effect I believe we've already used because we banished it off of Dormouse earlier in the turn. But this gives us plenty of targets to shuffle back using our Hard Scriptor if we want to end on that at all this turn.
Right, so bunch of materials. We bring out Hard Scriptor. Oh, and immediately linking those off.
Well, I mean, this is the Alec Kotaku we talked about, and now he has a ton of targets in the graveyard. I believe he can only summon 3 of them, but we're going to get the Red Ransom, we're going to get the White Binder, and we're going to...
I guess leave the spot open in set 2.
Interesting. Is it not mandatory to summon to all zones you legally can summon to? Or
I guess not.
I'm going to go with it's not, but...
Sorry, man.
I see no reason not to summon the Hard Scriptor unless you want to like save the White Binder effect to banish it later, so that way it comes back as 5k base. That could be pretty good.
Well, certainly high attack points are what got him into this commanding position, but now it's Sean's turn, so let's see what he gets.
Yep, he drew for turn. I'm not quite sure what the card was that he drew, but he does have this Dark Ruler No More that he had in his opening hand, and this seems pretty useful here now that he has to kind of break this really well-established board here from Albert. That basically turns off the Alec Kotaku as well as the other cards that he could have responded with during this turn. But he can always banish these monsters and bring them back, because I believe Dark Ruler only affects the monsters currently in play.
Believe so, and at least Albert knows he's going to see the next turn. So with the 4 cards set on the field, unless he loses everything and the ability to keep playing. Oh, well, there's Brand of Fusion, so speaking of keep playing, let's see what we got.
That is one heck of a way to start playing the game. But Dominus Impulse here from Albert is going to go ahead and negate and destroy the Branded Fusion. So its effect will not be able to send 2 monsters from the deck to the grave to commit a fusion summon. But we do have Fallen of Albaz on summon. Ditch the Mercurier to fuse. And we have the MTP07 as Chainlink 2 here. We're going to go ahead and search, and this will give us a non-target banish. And if we get the Albaz off the field, there's nothing that Sean can legally fusion summon, so he's going to scoop it up there, and we're going to go to game 2.
I'm so curious to know if he would have made the Dragon that Devours Dogma, because the material
card this time.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Let's see what unmitigated branded play looks like. Depending on what Albert's hand is, this might be the moment.
I definitely saw, I think, a Branded Fusion right there, so we're definitely going to do as much as we can.
Yep.
I've heard from some duelists they just never expect Branded Fusion to resolve. It's just a magnet for points of interaction.
There was definitely like an era of Branded where like you'd rather have something like Branded and High Spirits resolve, because that would give you extra Cartesia and whatnot, and then you can fusion summon that way. And it's basically like you're doing the same thing.
Yeah. All right, so we are going to start with Fusion Deployment here.
Speaking of Cartesia, this represents one to me. We can just reveal Grand Ganil and get it that way. If we have enough monsters in hand to fuse with, that'd be pretty sweet. But unfortunately, you don't need to know what it is until it resolves. So it's like, well, this could be anything.
Yeah.
There we see the Grand Ganil being revealed here. Going to go ahead and get the Cartesia, the Virtuous.
Definitely a pause there from Albert considering his options, but decided to do nothing. So beautiful alternate art blazing Cartesia.
I believe that was Rarity 4, right? Or yeah. It came out alongside like the alternate effect Veiler and Nibiru, right?
Yep, but I can still see that beautiful Masterful animation, you know, where she just opens herself up to more fusion monsters, please.
Everyone's favorite backdrop.
All right, but we got a lot of cards to work with, so let's see what Sean ends up playing next. Seems to be a spell card.
Oh,
Branded Fusion, yeah.
And it is Branded Fusion. Oh my gosh, but we have side frame gear. Is that Delta?
Yeah, it would have to be.
That is
Even Sean is like, what?
This will summon Driver and negate a spell. Notably, Branded Fusion, that's a spell card.
Yeah. One of the spell cards of all time.
That is super awesome to see. I'm not sure if those were in Albert's main deck or not, but if they were an inclusion from the side deck, really awesome to see that here going into this particular matchup.
Well, it does give you some additional bodies, and I can't think of like too many situations where you use it on your own turn and not controlling monsters, which is the activation condition and whatnot, but I mean, it got it done, but here we are summoning our friend again, and I think we're going to go grab some more Branded Spells and Traps.
Yep.
See what Aluber the Jester Despia has to say again.
Yep. Normally he would grab Branded Fusion here, but unfortunately that did not fly. But something like Branded High Spirits could give us access to Fallen of Albaz, which we desperately need if we want this Cartesia to summon anything meaningful this turn. Because I don't think making a Despian Fusion using Aliber and Cartesia is worth it right now. There's a world where you could make Granganil, but that just doesn't do anything until you have more valuable things to send to the graveyard. But if we get High Spirits, that means we need to have another monster in hand for Sean to actually get the value out of it.
And it has to be the right monster, too, although there are many different play lines here. Looks like we're actually going to get Branded Opening instead.
Ooh, this could be like a Despian Tragedy line here. This could be... correct me if I'm wrong. Does Delta negate activations? Or I don't think that matters for Branded Fusion, but it could.
Oh, it does negate activations.
Yeah, and I believe...
and you can only activate
Branded
one
Fusion.
Oh, wow.
Oh, but we have the Dominus Impulse as well, and look at us, expertly using Dominus Impulse after we use our Deltas because we wouldn't be able to after we activate Dominus Impulse. And I can't believe Sean just opened a double Branded Fusion, was able to activate both of them, but none of them got to resolve. It's like you were saying, Steven, you may as well assume it never resolves, right?
Yeah, it's a magnet for powerful cards, so now is a great moment. Now would be a good time to do something. But what Sean can do with those last two cards in his hand, only time will tell.
I had a feeling that Sean was going to go for a second Branded Fusion line there. I just thought I would take a bit more extra steps, like activating the Branded Opening. But we are going to activate it here. We're going to discard the Fallen of Albaz. So
we always had it.
We did have Albaz access, but probably wasn't good enough given this board texture. We're going to go ahead and get the Quem here, and that makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay.
This gives us just like way more value, especially if we can send something like the Tragedy off this.
And don't be confused, Duelist. While it special summons a Despia monster, Guiding Quem the Virtuous is a Despia monster.
And I'm pretty sure it's also a Dogmatica monster.
It is, it is. She's a switch hitter.
Ooh, we're going to send... Is that Retribution that we're thinking of sending here? Quem can, I believe, send any card that mentions Fallen of Albaz, so that does work.
But you wouldn't be able to activate it because it negated the... Oh, no, it negated the activation and effect, so you could just try it again.
Wait, does Impulse negate activations too?
Let me double check. Double check.
I don't know about Impulse. I think it just negates the effect, but I could be famously wrong about that.
Hold on. Let me... Because this is very important.
I mean, this feels like I'm going to try to activate Branded Fusion a third time if you're Sean, even though it's limited to 2, but...
Negate that effect, so we're not getting another one.
Okay, great. So he's just probably using this as like potential follow-up because maybe he feels like he can fusion summon enough ways to survive on the following turn because now he'll have access to Cartesia plus the Quem on the opponent's turn. And we saw how that was almost enough to let him survive, basically doing nothing on his first turn. Now that he has actually a full grave, this could be all he needs to keep playing. Are we making Masquerade? No, we're not. No way.
We might be.
No, it's great. It's got to be Granganil, right? That's the only thing I could think of.
I mean, I haven't seen Masquerade the Blazing Dragon in a while. No, we are just doing the Granganil.
Yep, this makes a lot of sense to me. It just gets your Cartesia in rotation to get that extra value out of it. I believe you'll be able to summon it back to the field as well because you have the Quem in play. You have another fusion summon. Against the Maliss deck, you know, famously people have all kinds of funny fusion monsters they can go into to kind of disrupt their board. Definitely like to see this. So it looks like we're thinking on chains here for Quem and Granganil. So it looks like Chainlink 1's going to be Quem, Chainlink 2's going to be Granganil.
We haven't seen a lot of, like, what some duelists call the third main phase, right? The shenanigans that Branded decks get into where they just add and add and add during the end phase. So hopefully that turn looks like that for Sean. Just to showcase it, I mean, this deck is incredible. Obviously, it's not... you know, a free win, effectively, but it does give you so much resource management action, so hopefully Sean gets, again, to show that off.
Yep, and then we're just double-checking here about Granganil, the Dusk Dragon. It basically will allow him to send more cards of his extra deck to the graveyard and get extra value out of them, because that's what the Brand deck wants to do. It looks like we're eyeing up Albion. That's what I'm seeing. So we can maybe get access to Branded in red, we can get access to other kinds of things. A lot of players have been, like, using Albion to actually set Branded Retribution during the end phase as a really fun sort of stymie against the mirror match. But
well, speaking of cards that count as something that's not in their name, remember the Fallen and the Virtuous is a branded card.
That's
so you
true.
could send Albion to just get that, but I don't know how strategic just one Destructure Beast. It looks like instead...
that was Titaniclad.
Yeah, Titaniclad.
Which is going to be really good. That gets them access to even more bodies, which by getting this branded this blazing Cartesia the Virtuous back will give him even more fusion summons during the opponent's turn. There is an argument to sending Albion, sending Branded in red and doing the same thing, but thanks to Branded Retribution, we can always add back. It looks like we're adding back Branded Opening here.
That would be pretty decent, honestly, because you can just go ahead and set it and then use it on your opponent's turn. You would have to have a card to discard, though.
Oh, we're going to get one during the end phase with Titaniclad.
That's true.
I'll proceed to...
Oh, I'm not quite sure what the line Sean's going for is on the opponent's turn. This is the thing about Branded that could be really sticky, is it's such a non-linear deck that this board could literally represent anything. Because had we gotten Branded in red, we could use Branded in red to bring back the Albaz. There's probably a world where, thanks to the Quem, if we can fusion summon using our Cartesia plus the Granganil, we can summon back the Albaz to the field, use its effect on summon to then fuse off whatever monsters Albert summons. So that could probably be the line that we're going for here, is like an Albaz during the opponent's turn type gambit.
Well, we saw how quick this duel heated up when the Link Disciple hit the field and Sean sprang into action trying to clear it away. That may be the same plot, right? They're trying to just maybe bring out a Mirror Jade, maybe bring out the Dragon that Devours the Dogma. But either or, I think you're right. It's all about that sudden fusion.
End phase.
And so we are in that end phase, also known as the third main phase. We're going to be using the Titaniclad's effect here to search for a card. We're going to go ahead and summon out the Fallen of Albaz to the field. That's right, you can add or summon to the field. I totally forgot about that.
Oh, and he discards it back. Are we doing it?
I mean, we can fuse and summon using our opponent's monsters. We're going to use the Delta there.
Okay, so just the Delta, though.
But we still have a representation of fusion summoning during our opponent's turn as well.
Back to it.
Now we're going to use the Albaz effect here to fuse by banishing materials. And we have a full yard to work with. This gives us access to Mirror Jade if we want it. Oh, but it looks like... oh, yeah, that's the other Albaz we just got rid of. Okay, beautiful. So we have Albaz plus the Titaniclad going away to make Mirror Jade. The
So
Ice
finally
Blade
getting back
Dragon.
in. Yeah, Icebrand Dragon is certainly good, so... Ice Blade, excuse me.
Now, Mirror Jade matches up a little awkwardly into Malice because Malice kind of wants their cards banished. Or if I don't remember correctly, he doesn't banish face down, right?
No, he
Just
can
face
banish just one monster, but
Gotcha.
the good news is that you can just pick your targets, right? If you see the Link Disciple, you see the Lingaribo, you see the Lizard Haggardos, you can stop those monsters and not have to basically give your opponent a free monster and maybe 300 life points lost.
Also, Mirror Jade is such a famously tough card to deal around. One of the best fusion monsters of all time because if your opponent ever gets rid of it, they're going to lose their entire board.
Well, I mean, you think about Mitsurugi, the reason why the deck is so well specced out and has done so well through tournaments throughout this year, right, a legendary modern deck in itself, is because it just has a free Raigeki.
On an open game stage.
Oh, also, by the way, we did just send the Dragon that Devours the Dogma to the graveyard. Very cool to see.
But I don't think we're seeing it for long as Baldrake, I believe, targeted it in the grave.
Yes. That's definitely not what you want to see if you're Sean. I'm not sure what the target was for Baldrake, but if it was Dogma, that will be a bit annoying for him to deal with.
Yeah, it was the Dogma. So you are not going to add from your deck to your hand a Dogmatica, or is it No, it's Tri-Brigade, right? Yeah,
Dogmatica or Tri-Brigade, I believe. So you could have added Mercurier during the end phase and have that be a monster negate potentially if you needed it.
Which is huge. I'd take the Baldrake over that.
But to be fair, I mean, Sean got Delta'd and Impulsed on 2 branded fusions and still built this entire board of interaction. We have Granganil, we've got plenty of bodies to fuse off with, we have Quem, and we have the Mirror Jade. This represents so much interaction against the opponent.
Yeah, definitely some main character energy using the main character, Fallen of Albaz.
Now, it is worth noting that we can no longer use Mirror Jade's effect to banish because it's once while this card's on the field. If we have a way to fuse it off and then bring it back with like Cartesia or something, or sorry, with Quem or something, we can use it again. Famously, Mirror Jade's been activated 3 times in a single turn. Even though there's one copy of it in play, I'll let people at home figure out how that makes sense. But it does.
Yeah, there you go.
Draw for turn.
All right, so getting back in the game here, going to go ahead and draw for turn. Albert up to bat.
This extra body in the Baldrake does represent a lot of interesting things for Albert. Not only is it a fusion banish potentially, but it is also an extra body to summon Link monsters with. But we're going to start off with a normal summon of backup at Ignister. Not necessarily where you want to begin your Malice plays, but it can go kind of anywhere if we need it to.
Just as an update, it does look like Sean received a slow play penalty. He hadn't previously received one, so there's just going to be a warning. But when our clock hits 0, it's actually going to have 3 minutes tacked back on for that time extension you get with a slow play penalty. Still is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Competition, and Brandon, you know, certainly feel for it, but that is a hard deck to play no matter what. But you got to keep up the pace of play.
Oh, this is an interesting play here from Albert. We added the Dormouse and discarded it off of the backup at Ignister's effect. So that means we must have a way to banish it in hand. And Sean has got to definitely go, oh, red alert, red alert. What are we going to do about this? Unfortunately, I think the best he could do is banish it, which would then do Albert's job for him.
The rest is fine.
Okay, we're just going to let it resolve. Taking a look at his extra deck. A lot of purple stuff in there, trying to figure out where he's going to go next, but...
The branded deck essentially has the extra deck as a second hand. Basically, all those cards, if they have effects in the graveyard, you can use them.
There's a graveyard.
All right, so take a look at the graveyard. Albert, just curious. And there are some relevant options in there. Of course, one of the most important branded opening, destruction protection for any of those fusion monsters on the field.
Also that Albaz. If anything leaves the extra deck, we can use Crump's effect, I believe, to summon back out that Albaz and then fuse off with it. So definitely a thing you need to worry about. Well, actually, we don't have any cards in Sean's hand, so maybe never mind. He's maybe not worried about that. I kept forgetting that he's holding his extra deck and not his actual hand.
But how funny, you're right that it's a second hand, that you would just like hold the whole extra deck and be like, what am I going to do next? Haven't seen that since, well, maybe last round with Jaden Yuki. Haha, just kidding, of course.
Good old Eric.
It's good stuff, though. I mean, seeing all these different fusion decks, whether it's Draco Tail or Hero or Branded, it's nice to see this mechanic coming back in full swing.
So we're debating here on Sean. We're going to use the Cartesia effect here to fusion summon. No response from Albert. What are we going to go into here? We can make a lot of stuff. I believe Virtuous has to... you don't need to use itself. You can use any materials to perform the fusion summon. So we're going to use Mirror Jade plus Grand Gandil to make... Whoa!
What?
Red Plant Draco's Despia.
Yeah,
Okay,
being able to reduce the level of monsters. I don't know how relevant that'll come up,
Grand
but
Gandil.
that Predaplant counter does negate those effects.
It also, quite importantly, puts the Grand Gandil in the graveyard, so that way you can activate its effect. And it could, well, negate any of the Link 2s that Albert might need to go for here if he wants to continue playing.
So found the back door into some points of interaction. Now basically has 2 negates that he can access. Sean's starting to do a lot better here.
And I bet you Albert's debating whether or not he wants to go for the Ball Drake, but we can just chain the Draco's Despia to that and force it out that way.
Ball Drake it is.
We're going to chain the Quem here because we summoned from the extra deck, and the Mirror Jade was in the graveyard because he was using the material to bring it back, and now we get access to that Banish again like I was talking about earlier.
Some incredible stuff here. Sean not giving up. Had his back to the wall. There's about, again, 19 minutes plus the 3 minutes from the time extension on the clock. So there's still plenty of time to duel, but this may go down to the wire since both these decks have learned how to grind out each other's strategy.
Also, we did use the Draco's Despia there to target the Ball Drake, give it a Predator counter, and thanks to the lingering effect of Draco's Despia, anything with a Predator counter is negated. But we do have the March Hare here to banish the Dormouse, and we've used quite a bit of interaction if we're Sean. This is a little rough. Sean might have thought we were going for a Haggard Lizardos line, but didn't realize we had the March Hare already in hand. We're paying the 300 life points to bring out the Dormouse. This is how it begins. But very heads-up play here from Sean. We still have access to the banish from our Mirror Jade. The Dormouse was just summoned back, so it cannot be summoned again.
Still needs to keep up that pace of play. I've certainly been there before. I was playing, actually, we were playing with Brandon yesterday, and I'm like, there's a lot of cards and effects here.
There's a lot of things you can constantly keep doing. But it looks like we're sending the Rindrum here. That'll give us access to Fallen Out Balbaz again on our turn if we need it. Just a really awesome card to have in the graveyard, and actually a really fun one to summon if you can ever pull it off, because it's basically like a walking negate.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And interesting synergy with Brandon High Spirits. You could use that with Mulcharmy Fawalis.
So
Looks like we're conceding. Yeah.
Yep, Albert sees the writing on the wall, the amount of resources that Sean has access
I'll
to.
take first.
Sure, good luck.
Best of luck to both duelists.
Oh, now that's an interesting hand for Albert. Notice what color is missing.
I
I don't think I see any monster cards.
think I see at least one.
Okay.
Oh, face stand by main.
Yeah, I think I see a March Hare, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I definitely...
Never mind. All the monsters you have access to in the world.
Don't forget, my green cards are brown cards. So here we're going to see that Underground famously in this card grabs Malice P. Dormouse and nothing else.
Sure.
We're going to go ahead and pay the 300 life points, summon it back from the banishment,
Sure.
and now it's go time. Using the effect here, we're going to go ahead and banish and start the party.
Perfect.
Sure.
White Rabbit effect, pay 300, summon on, summon, go ahead and set a spell, a trap card, Maliss trap card. We're going to go for the TB11. Ooh, not a line we have seen in a minute, opening with that card. That'll give us access to a really easy rank 3 play, or if we can already make Red Ransom, that gives us a ton of material to use later in the turn.
Well, let's see what he ends up going for. Does seem like he drew one of the trap cards right at the beginning, but I can't tell if it's a Dominus Impulse or not. But it looks like we're in a normal summon Chessicat. And no effect. Wow, just going in.
Nah, there's no reason to risk a Ghost Ogre there, I don't think. Well, at this point, if he had Ghost Ogre, he would have used it already. But.
Perfect.
Oh, he probably doesn't have any names in hand. That's why. And we're going to get the Malice in the mirror. Red Ransom being able to search this card ever since Alliance Insight. You'll love to see it. Yep, and here's the thing I was mentioning. We can now use the TB11 to go ahead and banish the Red Ransom. And because we did not use the Chessicat's effect, we can actually banish using the Red Ransom's banish effect to then summon it out that way, too.
Perfect.
Sure.
So again, just a reminder, it is 13 minutes left on the clock, but it's actually really 16 minutes because of the slow play penalty issued to Sean, so there's a time extension. It's not going to be added till time until it hits 0, so don't panic. We're still playing at 0. No double us, at least at that moment.
Ooh, this is a really interesting play here. So we summoned the March Hare off the TB11, and now we're using the Red Ransom's effect to banish another March Hare from the deck. We've taken, I think, 1,200 more life points by doing that to add the March Hare back to hand. We're now going to link 2 Red Ransom into Cyber's Wicked. This will get us access to our Ignister cards if we need them.
And
Sure.
first time we're actually seeing that in this duel because he just hard opened the backup at Ignister and the Wizard at Ignister as well, so going to banish our TB11.
Perfect.
Sure.
Yep, and now we can use the Wicked here to banish the Chessicat that we have not used the effect of to summon back from the field. But this will get us to that backup at Ignister that I was talking about. We can now use the March Hare plus the Wicked to make a white binder, or the Chessie plus the Wicked to make a white binder. Are we going to use the Chessicat's effect now? Or now that we have the Malice in the mirror in hand, we have a guaranteed name to banish here?
I wonder if this is going to turn out like that last duel and just drop
Special.
Dark Ruler no more,
Sure.
because the way things are going, Albert is about to establish a pretty commanding field that could even end with Allied Code Talker at Ignister.
And if you don't have Dark Ruler, that's a really tough card for Sean to interact with. It looks like we're discarding the G2CO6 off of the backup's effect. We are going to declare the effect of Chessicat to banish a Malice name from hand and draw 2.
So that's interesting, you know, Albert running apparently all 3 of the trap cards because we've seen all 3 throughout this duel, and, you know, sometimes they get cycled out of various deck lists, but
Sure.
maybe he wants to have the raw power.
Yeah, ever since the forbidding of a lot of your really powerful Link 1 plays like Link Decoder and whatnot, having the extra bodies given to you by TB11 is really useful in the combos, but playing it in Nibiru becomes a lot harder, so you always have to balance that with the matchups you're facing.
Well, let's see what we're about to face now as we link off 3 different Cybers monsters. And slow down the white binder. Looks like instead it is going to be the Heart Scripter.
Notably, this Heart Scripter is co-linked, meaning that its effects cannot be negated.
They will not be denied. Taking just a moment, Albert not sure where he wants to go with the duel now. Oh, but it's a Wizard at Ignister. We are going to activate the effect here.
Yep, this represents, well, it represents a lot of things, but most likely it's going to be the white binder here to get that G2CO6 back in rotation. That's a really important thing Albert wants to do to make sure he has, like, all the good follow-up that he needs. Oh.
So straight into Lingaribo, but then after Lingaribo, linking those off could be a Link 4, but oh, it is
Firewall
actually.
Dragon, yeah. And now we can link those off into the Link 3 that I was talking about, so that way we can potentially have a co-linked Firewall Dragon.
So we've got 1 card effect to return something maybe from the graveyard, maybe from the field. Almost the original Draco Tail Arthalion.
There's a world where we save that for
1
Sean's turn to have the interaction because it is once per while this card's on the field. So we're going to banish Heart Scripter with White Binder.
Channeling 2.
And we're going to chain the Firewall Dragon?
Oh, he is going to access his graveyard or something immediately.
No, no, it's the summon
you're
effect
right.
because something that it was linked to was sent to the graveyard. So now we can summon the Chessicat from hand. That's the really exciting thing to get the extra material. Everyone knows that effect is not really used as often anymore because it's only for Cybers monsters now. But back in the day, that was the real effect of Fireball Dragon.
effect to
What
set.
a real effect it had. What a heyday Firewall Dragon had. It's still a really great card, but after its errata, obviously it belonged in Cyber decks. Now it belongs here. One of the best Cyber decks ever printed.
Oh, yeah. Want to see me summon monsters? Want to see me do it again? How about again?
And again.
Oh, man, we can do a lot of fun stuff here because now if we make Allied Kotaker, we'll have a triple co-linked Firewall Dragon.
Wow.
Plus a Heart Scripter, plus a... Oh, no, we make Red Ransom for sure because then we can use GWCO 6 to bring back the Red Ransom. Oh, yeah, that feels pretty good to me. And I think I saw Droll plus Ash in Albert's hand. So we have all of this Anthem. So we have a triple bounce.
Sorry.
We have a full Malice Graveyard and follow-up. We have, I believe, a known March Hare in hand. I could be wrong about that. I think we linked up the second one, but I think we have a March Hare in hand. And then we have Allied Kotaker plus a known GWCO 6 and then a set card that we do not know, if we're Sean.
Well, it's a lot, but speaking of Sean, looks like he's ready to play his first card.
8,000.
Yep, just double-checking the life points here. A lot of effects were activated. A lot of damage was taken. We're at 5,300 as Albert. We're starting off with Lubellion from hand. We're going to go ahead and search for a Bestial. Not only a card you want to draw in the branded deck, you usually want to send it off of Branded Fusion, but having it in the graveyard is really all you care about because that can give you access to Branded Lost, which can protect your Fusion summons.
If we get to Branded Lost, this kind of changes things up immediately because, again, it insulates your plays. Cannot negate the activations of those fusion effects, but we got to get there. So let's go ahead and dig into the deck, grab out a Bestial. You see at the very top there as he scrolls through his deck, Emil Charming Meows. Didn't see it in the opening hand, unfortunately.
Nice.
That would have been very nice.
Oh, yeah. Famously, one of those silver bullet cards for Malice. Also lines up pretty well against Yummy, too.
All right, taking a moment to think here, but I think Sean's ready for his next card. It's going to be a Fusion Deployment.
It's a really good start. Getting Cartesia access is something you always want to be doing if you're a branded player.
Albert just kind of looking at the graveyard for the moment. A lot of different options he has, but I wouldn't imagine you'd want to use the Allied Kotaker at Ignister to negate now. That seems a little extra, but I think we're going to use a trap card instead.
It also turns things on like Thrust, too, if you use that one.
Mm-hmm.
But this GWCO 6 might do the same thing, depending on what we bring back.
Sure.
All right, so let's go and resolve.
Could be the White Rabbit here to get access to the MTP-07, which we can use by banishing our White Binder. White Binder will then summon itself back, and that'll bring back the Hard Scripter, the same old song and dance that you use when you're doing some Malice interaction shenanigans.
All right, so now we're going to go ahead and grab out of the deck a fusion material here. It's going to be Blazing Cartesia, making an encore performance again. Great card.
Chain Cartesia.
Oh, we're going to fuse.
And we're going to chain Cartesia to that, so that way we don't have the MTP-07 sort of interrupt us.
So Chainlink 1 off the summon again, Malice P, White Rabbit, and then Cartesia immediately activated by Sean. So we're going to fuse something. A lot of cards in the hand, a lot of choices here.
That's fine.
We have a known Saronir in the hand. We're going to use Despian Tragedy to go ahead and make the Grand Ganil. This is going to be pretty interesting, because I think we can order the Chainlinks in such a way where Grand Ganil can send, and then we can Despian Tragedy add back what we send. Because I don't believe Despian Tragedy targets, but it might.
Chainlink 1, Tragedy. Chainlink 2, Grand Goyle.
So again, that was Chainlink
Tragedy
1,
adds a
Tragedy,
trap
Tragedy
and then
adds
Chainlink
a
2,
Despia
Grand
monster.
Ganal.
with Despia monster.
Yep, so Tragedy will be adding a Despia monster.
Could just normal summon a Luber, the Jester, Despia. It's worked for years. But you could also get Gatenquin in the
So
Virtuous.
chain 1, Tragedy, chain 2, Grand Goyle.
Yep.
Yep, so train 2 was Grand Ganil to go ahead and send.
I think that means he values the effect of Despian Tragedy first and foremost because it's sort of blocked out. It looks like, yeah, we're going in.
Well, he might. I don't believe Despian Tragedy targets, so he could send the card that he wishes to add to a hand with Despian Tragedy. Is my understanding, but I could be wrong.
Let's see what he's grabbing instead.
This might give us access to the Alubur, which can get us Branded Fusion. This might give us access to Quem. This can give us access to a lot of things. Oh, it's going to be Albion the Shrouded Dragon. That, I believe, is also considered a Despia card. Oh, sorry, no. Tragedy adds a Despia card. Forgive me. It adds a branded spell trap if it's banished, I think.
Resolution.
It does. And then Albion is also treated as Fallen of Albaz, so we kind of got there the long way.
Right. Because Grant can consent something that mentions Fall of Albaz or Albaz himself.
No.
Accurate.
We're gonna use the effect of Albion in the grave.
Okay. Can I read Shrouded?
Yeah, so basically you could send a card that mentions the Fallen of Albaz to the grave to shuffle it back to the deck if it's in the grave. If it comes from the hand, you also get to draw a card, but we're not doing that. It's going from the grave.
Still can help out quite a bit, especially with Brain of Retribution. It's interesting. Both of these are like pretty well-known decks, but because they're so non-linear, I don't even know if the duelists know what they need to do. Speaking of which, Albert is receiving a slow play warning, so the total time extension is actually going to be 6 minutes. So there's not 3 minutes and 35 seconds left on the clock. There's a whopping 9 minutes and 30 seconds left, so we're going to finish this the right way.
And talk about the right way, we're doing what Brandon always wants to do. We're going to summon Albert, but we're going to search for the Fallen and the Virtuous.
Finally.
It's finally here. The brand new card from the Chronicles deck.
Just an incredible card.
It is going to be one very useful one at kind of like dismantling this board a little bit because it will demand an answer from Albert.
Target.
Yeah, you've got to go for that allied code at Ignister, challenging him, saying, hey, negate this if you want, but if you do, you don't have a negate anymore.
And we get to send a monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz from our extra deck to the grave. We're going to be sending the Rinbrum, which gives us access to Fallen of Albaz as well. That's pretty good.
Who is in the graveyard, technically, because of Albion.
That's true.
Do you have a response?
We're gonna chain the effect of Allied Kotaker to banish the Fallen and the Virtuous. We're thinking to banish and negate, and we're thinking here, if we're Albert, if there's anything else we want to do.
Chain, target.
Ooh, and we're chaining the Firewall Dragon, quick effect, target the Rinbrum, target the Grand Canal to bounce them back to the extra deck.
Super smart there. But let's see what we end up responding with. If anything, I think I see a couple of different quick play spell cards that could be activated right now, and Sean does too, but both these players got to pick up the pace of play. It looks like we're going to go ahead and just let that resolve, adding those back from the field and graveyard to the hand. Well, to the deck.
Yes. The second hand for Brandon.
The second hand. Not to be confused with the third or fourth hand, right? The banishment in the graveyard.
That's right, that's right.
MTP, yeah.
Just a great deck that has like a lot of really cool resource management, but definitely a choose your own adventure.
2 minutes. Is that including the extension?
If I'm reading this correctly, I think Sean's biggest plays here on this going second turn was like, let's protect the Branded Fusion. Oh, because now we can thrust and get Branded Fusion.
So I do see that Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring in Albert's hand, so it may not be a big deal. He goes ahead and just gives a thumbs up to that. That's fine.
It's like, do you ash the Branded Fusion or do you ash the thing that can search for it? It's like, he might already have one in hand. He might be searching something else.
Yeah. And so by negating the effect, that'll lock out Sean from recycling his Branded Fusion, which we clearly know he can do. He's got the Brand of Retribution in the graveyard there, so I think we're about to see it.
And we've already used Cartesia's effect to Fusion Summon. That's very notable to know.
I do love Albert's style of negation. It's very conservative. He wants to see the last card before he negates it with an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So he kind of draws the ire of his opponent out, and then he stops it.
Plus, it's just like probes for the most information. Like, wait for your opponent to reveal everything they have to you, and then you will know best how to use your own interaction. That is some top-level play right there. And again, just a reminder, as the clock ticks down, there will not be 45 seconds left. There will be 6 minutes and 45 seconds left. Just keep that in mind for everyone watching at home.
So we're going to get rid of the Wizard at Ignister here with Bestial Saronir.
Smart, a card that can't come back, but if you were able to recycle, it could be very useful.
What do you think? Chaos Angel teasing. He's fusion locked, but...
No, I actually think Branded lost time. Or we could get access to... No, there's probably no Branded Beast. If there was, that'd be super sick. But oh, here we see the March Air on resolution of the Lubellion to summon itself, chaining to the Saronir effect, I imagine, to send. This will banish that Heart's Cryptor, and that'll give us access to our non-target banishes, which we love so much.
Going to be a little difficult because this is going to happen before we even see Lubellion place a card on the field. And I think you're right. Branded loss does seem to be the play. I haven't seen Branded regained in a long time.
It looks like we're sending... Is that Branded? No, I think that's the Fallen and the Virtuous that we just sent to the grave. Yep.
It is.
With the effect of Bestial Saronir, because that card is considered a Branded card.
So again, duelists, it is 6 minutes. Judge just confirmed that. We went ahead and added onto the clock, so 6 minutes should be counting down now.
And then we're just waiting to resolve, based on the clock, I'd assume, the effect of Heart's Cryptor to summon back.
They may be waiting for the clock to sync up before we
Right.
get started.
Right. Again, you want to make sure everything is happening as it's supposed to.
Are we good to continue?
All right, we're good.
In
So
response.
clock ticks down.
Yep, so we pay 900.
Chain.
Oh, we're going to be
Target.
chaining to the effect of
Target.
Hard Scripter to summon
Strategy.
Brandon and Red to summon. Oh, but we have Called by the Grave on the Albion, the Shrouded. No, wait, no, on the Despian Tragedy, it looks like.
Sure.
Yep, the Despian Tragedy. It was what we were going to summon back using the Brandon and Red to perform a fusion summon. That could have been kind of crazy, actually.
Well, Despia Tragedy wanted to be banished, but not like that, because again,
No.
Brandon Red does
Banish.
bring it back to the hand, then you banish for the fusion summon, but unfortunately that Despian Tragedy, well, tragically, its effect is negated.
No.
Activate.
And then we're going to activate the effect of the Bestial Rebellion to go ahead and set Branded Lost. And or something else, but I'm not sure if there's any other cards that Sean could reasonably have as a target. If I see Branded Beast, though, I will get up out of my chair and be like, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
The trap card that tributes a dragon to destroy, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
or Beast, I believe, too.
Pretty good.
Then we're going to use the effect of March Hare.
Sure.
No, sorry, we're using the effect of Hard Scripter to non-target banish the Branded Lost before it even has a chance to activate and get Sean infinite
Banish out.
value.
Oof.
Yep.
We're using Retribution. We're adding back the Fallen the Virtuous. Fun fact, you can only activate one Fallen the Virtuous per turn, but Ally Kotaker negates activations.
But does Sean remember that? And does he want to even use it now anyway?
Yes.
Well, it gives him access to more extra deck monsters in the graveyard, so...
Looks like he remembered, so we're activating the Fall of the Virtuous.
Negate the activation.
Yep, it's a once per turn activate, and Allied Kotaker does in fact negate the
what are you
activation
targeting?
of that card. And the
Okay.
target is Allied Kotaker at Ignister, and we're going to be sending from our extra deck to the graveyard.
I think another Albion so that you could set another Fall of the Virtuous?
Yeah, because I don't know if we have any other targets in our deck. We've already used Brandon and Red. We've already used Brandon Retribution if we're Sean.
Oh, but I also see him looking at the Titaniclad so he can
Yeah.
special summon Albaz and maybe clear the field further, because
Destroys it, right?
definitely has like the ability to clear out two monsters. If you were going to fusion summon the Dragon that Devours Dogma, which two monsters would you clear from Albert's field?
Well, I mean, I don't want to maybe spoil a
Yes.
potential other card that he could be
I
playing,
think
but a
I
lot of
was-
Brandon players do also play Chaos Star
Sure.
Source Dragon,
Oh,
which
and so
can
you can
fuse
get
off with
two.
multiple light and dark monsters, I believe.
And so it'd be one spell and trap destruction for each of those light and dark monsters too, which is relevant with the field spell in the field too. So a lot of different options. Again, just like you said, non-linear
finish,
game
my God.
plan.
Ooh, and now we're going to use the effect
hair targets
MTP07, adding the Peshigat to hand, and then we're going to use the MTP07 to banish the Bestial Rebellion, and then we're going to be paying another 300 life points to add back the March Hare. I believe we've already used March Hare's effect to quick play banish this turn, but oh, we also have Bestial Magnamut in hand, targeting the Titanic Cloud to
search.
banish and summon Magnamut. Effect of Magnamut on summon to
Yeah.
search for a dragon.
Ooh, it's good stuff.
And because Titanic Cloud is no longer in the graveyard, it will not activate its effect.
Oh no, and it's Bestial Druis Worm, which counts not only to devour something from the graveyard, but also can send something from the field to the grave when it's gone. So starting to look really good for Albert. Sorry, Brandon fans.
Oh, and there it is.
Oh, that was enough.
Sean scoops it up. After passing and just going, he saw the writing on the wall. It goes to Albert.